In this tutorial, I'm going to be briefly talking you through the game template that we've been given. Okay, very briefly, it's just a quick whirl through. We don't need to know everything that's going on here, but if we can have a bit of an understanding about what it's doing, it might help us if things don't quite work out. Okay, so initially we're starting off by bringing in two libraries. One is the PyGame library, which is going to allow anything that begins with PyGame. As you can see, there's quite a few there that begin with PyGame. They all are brought in from that library. Okay, so for example, let's just jump down and have a look at this one. This one here is a clock for the speed. So this allows us to be able to refresh the page 60 times, 60 frames per second, so that we don't get any flickering. Okay, having a quick look down here, this sets the screen size. So it's going to be 1000 across by 800 high, and then this is storing those things there as a variable. Okay, so that allows us that later on we can write to that. So if I highlight screen, we should be able to actually write to that when we're making shapes. Okay, this next little section here is colors. Okay, so part of one of the tasks is to actually make your own colours. So we'll do a quick look through there and show you how this works. But basically, for each colour, you have three values, which the first one is for R for red, the second is green, and the third is B. And between mixing those three different colours together as primary colours, you can make 16.7 million colours, so more than what we should need. Okay, we've set a variable here called game state equals running, and they were saying while the game state is not equal to exit, this is going to be here what we call our game loop. So everything's going to happen here. Once we start running, it's just going to keep running along inside here. Okay, so everything that we need to do is going to be between here. What we do need to make sure though is that we indent it so it's level with that loop, with this for here. Okay, and then finally, but you're just going to get a little, if once it's come out of that, if what we've done causes it to exit, okay, it'll actually say the game's closed and quit. Okay, now that I have a sort of working idea of what's going on on the game template, I'm now going to start having a go and actually drawing some shapes. Okay, so from PyGame week 1, I can scroll down to the first kind of code box. I'm just going to grab that, and I'm going to copy and paste that into there. Okay, what I do need to make sure is that I indent the two code lines. Okay, and then I can actually run it. So let's run that and see what happens. Okay, so you can see that has produced me two rectangles. Okay, so it's drawn me two rectangles, and it's drawn it onto the screen. So this black area here is the screen. Okay, it's giving me the first one is green and the second one is yellow. Obviously that green is coming from up here. So if I want to have different colours, I would need to store them up here, and then I can refer to them from them being a variable. Difference between the two obviously is the colour. Okay, the position, let's have a quick look at how the position works. And the position works a little bit strangely in terms of X and Y. Traditionally, you probably think that the 0, 0 would be down here and then you'd go X and then Y. Well, computers work in a different way. They actually start on the top left. So up here is 0, 0. So to start drawing this shape here, okay, where it begins, it's going to be 50 across, that's the X, and then 200 down. Okay, and then the second part of the instruction is telling you how wide it is across and then how deep it is down the way. Okay, so the actual width and height of the shape. And if we have a look at this second shape, you can see it goes 50 across, 400 down, and then again it's the same shapes, so it's again 40 by 20. However, they've got a slightly different bit here, okay, which is a comma and then a 4 and a bracket, and that's to do with the thickness. Okay, now what I suggest you do is actually have a little bit of a play with the numbers to get a bit of an idea. Okay, now to actually edit them, I need to push stop. Okay, so if I just change, let's just change that to 2, for example. Okay, and let's just change the colour of this one. What colours have I got available? I've got red, so let's try red. And let's try on the first one, let's go yellow. We've already used yellow. Let's try white to see what happens. Okay, so I push play. Okay, and now you can see I've got a white rectangle and a red, and obviously the thickness I've just brought down is only 2 pixels thick now. Okay, if I want to have a go at drawing some of the next things I can have a look at, so let's have a go zoom down again from the instructions. We can have a go at drawing a circle. So if I grab that, Okay, just again, need to make sure it goes between where it says code starts and where it ends. And when I paste it in here, I just need to make sure that I indent the coded lines. Okay, the commented lines don't matter. Obviously, that's just to show you and kind of explain what's going on. So I can just push play. Okay, you can see that's now drawn me 2 circles down here. Okay, and again, by having that extra detail, so it says where it's being drawn, the screen, the color, where it's the position. Now obviously the X and Y here is going to be the center of the circle, and then the thickness there is actually how many pixels wide it is from that center. Okay, and obviously if we give an extra bit of detail with another comma, another number, then that tells us it's just going to draw a kind of ring around it, which that's 4 pixels. Okay, let's have a look at our final kind of skill that we're showing on here, and this is the draw line. So I'm just going to grab that code, okay, and paste it in, and make sure that it's indented, and again push play. Okay, now this time you can see it's drawn me 2 lines. Okay, now how the line works is that it has a starting position. Okay, so both of these lines have started in the top left, 0, 0, and then you have the end. Okay, so this one here is 200, 200 across. So if I go up here and go 200 across, 200 down, that's that end one there. Okay, and the second line, or again with that extra bit of detail, the comma and then a number is given the thickness of the line, and this time it's going start again at 0, 0, and this time it's going across to 800 and then down to 200. Okay, and again it's the thickness of that line is at 4. Okay, now from these elements, i.e. being able to draw circles and squares or rectangles, okay, I should be able to draw, and your task is to draw the like a house. Okay, now what I suggest you do before you actually start drawing is maybe get a little piece of paper and actually plan out where the numbers are. By that I mean, if I'm going to kind of want to draw a roof on this here, I would need to think about where the start line is going to be. So if starting up there, it's going to have to be 50 across perhaps, and then wherever this is going across, that's maybe 200 down. Okay, so if I just actually adjust that, let's have a look. This was the first line. Let's see if we can actually get that to work. Okay, so from the starting point there, if I say to start at 50 and go across 200. Okay, let's have a look at how that's changed that first line. Okay, so now you can see it's actually drawn on that start of that point there. Now obviously this line here, if I want to do a kind of pitched roof, I want to actually bring it up the way. Okay, I'm going to need to move the X across the way, okay, to about halfway through there. And again, you've got to think a little bit about your math here and think, right, if the rectangle, this is the white one here, okay, if it's starting at 50, 200 and it's 40 by 20, halfway across there is going to be 50 add 20, okay, so it's going to have to end at 70 across. Okay, so let's just change the X of where this one's going to end to be at sorry, so this is the line. Okay, so it's going to have to be ending at 70. Okay, and I want it to be a bit higher, so it's actually sort of sticking up. So if I just make that sort of 150, and let's see how that's adjusted that line. Okay, so you can now see that it's actually gone up the way. Okay, and then maybe I can start thinking, well, hang on, let's get this line here to go to that end. And again, you've got the numbers, so if you think about where it starts, 50, 200 there, and where it ends, 7150, I can get this other line here to start at 7150 and then go across the way. Okay, so it's going to end at what's that going to be? 50, add the 40, so it's going to end at 90 across and then 200 down. So again, we'll just have a quick look at that, see if we can get that to work. Okay, so we said 90, 200. So if we bring that there, okay, so it's going to come across 90. Oh, I need to make sure I push stop. Let's bring that across to 90. Okay, and let's try that and see if that's done the trick. So push start. Okay, and you can see that it has now actually joined that bit from there to there. Obviously this is still starting at 0, 0, so I need to start at the same place that finished. So I'm going to make that 71. 50. Okay, and I might actually get rid of that extra thickness so that my roof matches one side from the other. Okay, and there we go. Alright, so in terms of, I've kind of almost drawn like a little party hat there, but obviously I can adjust that and make the rectangle much bigger, and I can maybe move this in to make the door. I could have one of these as sort of sunshine. So when you're drawing your house or your car, try and use all three skills, i.e. draw at least a couple of lines, use at least one rectangle, ideally maybe two, and at least a couple of the circles. Okay, good luck with your drawing.